This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to our first Mindful Moments video with Arianne and Emily. We're going to be going over our first skill today. So Emily is going to tell us a little bit about how utilizing these skills is helpful over time.
And just like we talked about in our introduction video, this is really kind of like going to the gym and strengthening your muscles. So the more that you practice this skill and maybe even go back to this video a few times, the more you may be able to identify in your body and the more you may develop kind of some clarity with this.
So our first skill that we're going to cover to help build that resilient window is called tracking. So really this is the foundation skill that we need to be able to even bring awareness to when we're in our resilient zone or when we're feeling stuck on high or low and we need to either apply the brake or the gas. So tracking is just this observation. It's noticing or paying attention what is happening inside your body. Most of us don't know how to describe our sensations, but it's really helpful to learn the language of sensation because that's how we talk, quote unquote, to our nervous system. So tracking helps you learn how to bring balance back into your nervous system by managing inner sensations. So a lot of the time we run on autopilot throughout most of our day, and we're not consciously aware of what's going on inside of us mentally, emotionally, or even physically sometimes. So tracking is a great way to bring that foundation to the practice of mindfulness. So when you first start tracking, at first you may only be aware of uncomfortable sensations, but there are usually places in your body that are not in distress or in less distress or even feel good. So to get back into your resilient zone, it's necessary to pay attention to places of more comfort in your body. This will help you put the brake on if the accelerator is stuck on high. So paying attention means you notice the sensations inside of you as you focus on those parts of your body that are less distressed, neutral, or positive. And so when we say positive, we mean calm and more relaxed. If you have symptoms because you have been bumped out of your resilient zone, your own body can start to feel like the enemy. So tracking inner sensations, even ones that are uncomfortable, can be difficult at first. As you get more experience in tracking, finding inner sensations of comfort will get easier and easier for you. So the language of sensation refers to using words that help you describe what you are noticing inside. So sensations tell us what is happening in our nervous system. So some of these sensation words could be something like warm, cold, tingly, buzzy, tight. A nervous sensation word or sensation words rather of the nervous system can create this idea of what we're noticing. They can elaborate on the idea of what we're noticing. You can come up with your own language. So as your body comes into balance, you may notice what is called nervous system release. And this is the skill that we're going to talk about today, or this observation that we're going to talk about today. And Emily is going to provide an account of her experience with nervous system release. So this is some examples of nervous system release are heat or warmth or even cooling down, tingling in your hands, arms, or legs, shaking or trembling within your body, maybe deeper breathing, sometimes even crying, laughing, or the less desirable ones are like burping or stomach gurgling. You may even experience itching or yawning. But nervous system release is a biological process that happens automatically. It's a sign that your body is letting go of blocked stress energy. So it's a good thing when it happens, but it can be unsettling unless you understand the purpose of the release, which is to bring balance back to your nervous system, to level you out, to bring you back into that resilient zone. So if you notice any of the sensations of release, the best thing to do is just let them happen. Release sensations are a way that your nervous system lets go of stress, and it gets you back, and it gets you unlocked from your body. It gets you back into that resilient zone. So if the release sensations are too strong, which they sometimes can be, you can consciously stop them and notice the urge to release without allowing all the energy to be. So this can be a way of slowly letting the body release. So let's take a moment to notice and track our current sensation. So I'm going to close my eyes because I'm comfortable closing my eyes, and I'm going to scan and notice, and Emily is also practicing this as well. So we're going to track for a moment. So some thoughts while you're tracking. Do you feel stuck in high or do you feel stuck in low? What do you feel in your body or what did you feel in your body when you were in these moments of high or low? If you're not
sitting in, and I was going to say, with sitting in that too, right? I have been applying these skills and I noticed, likely because we're recording a video, right, that it was a little bit higher. And the anxiety I could kind of feel in my chest, it felt more tight than it normally would. But through using a skill, right, and noticing that tightness, I was able to kind of breathe into it and notice this warmth kind of going through my lungs into my stomach.
That's a great observation. I think I was also feeling a little bit on the higher side because of probably recording and being on the spot. And I noticed I was very tense just all throughout my core and even into my legs. And so taking that moment to pause and track my current sensations, I noticed that big release of energy and that feeling of, I actually did feel the cooling down sensation that was described in the tracking. I think because I was so tight and tense before that it was almost like a wave of relief on my body. So that was definitely an observation that I felt even in that small moment that we just took. Another activity or reflection is to think of a time when you felt release. Maybe you felt a strong sensation of release. And what skills brought you to that feeling of release? Or were you even aware that you used a skill? Sometimes we have skills in our repertoire that we're not even aware that we're using because they've never been labeled as such.
Well, and even like I was saying, you know, the skill of inherently just knowing to breathe now because it's been so ingrained, right, where that really provided this sense of release, where nothing else could really do that except for breathing into that tightness, breathing into that feeling, and then noticing the difference that it made by taking those deep breaths and feeling, you know, kind of like my abdomen widen as I'm taking these big, deep belly breaths.
Yeah, those are, and the breathing, your breath is portable. You can take it with you wherever you go. So breathing is something that we're going to reference quite a bit. So it's great to get comfortable with your own breathing, to practice your own breathing. We tend to naturally fall into very shallow breaths throughout the day. So every once in a while, take a moment to take a big breath and fill your lungs up with good air and feel what that feels like in your body. I know when I reflect on a time where I feel release, I think back to a job I held previously working with adult clients, and I had to deliver some particularly difficult news to a family member. And I definitely trembled and I cried afterwards. And I didn't know at the time that that was release. So I really wasn't aware of what skills had brought me to that, but I definitely engaged in a good support system afterwards. I did focus on my breath. When we have those physical symptoms of release, it's important to take it back to our survival brain state. Our lower brain needs physical regulation, focusing on your breath, focusing on your body, and then you can bring it up to the emotions, you can bring it up to the thinking and learning. So those physical regulation skills are really important when you're feeling a release.
Yeah. And then just to kind of conclude things, we wanted to show you an app that may be really helpful. It is called iChill, and that's actually where we've gotten all of these skills from. So you can download it on your phone or the computer, and you can go through these skills again or build upon them. So in our next video, we're going to do resourcing. And so if you go into the skills aspect of this, there's actually a button where you can expand on your resource. So you can add pictures, you can write notes, you can add details about what that resource is to really enrich your association with that. And you can do that with tracking as well.
So thank you so much for joining us for our first video. We're really excited for this series. We're really looking forward to your feedback and experiences. So please, let's keep this interactive. We miss interacting with everyone in a non-digital world. So we'll just do our best with what we have for now. And we look forward to seeing you all in our next video. So take care.
Have a good week, guys.